So what is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another video where today I have something funny kind of that I want to show you, which is a reply from a Treyarch developer regarding some tweets about the future of Call of Duty Zombies, along with a few other things as well. So let's get straight into this. I saw this tweet by Mr. T-Lexify where he said there's a serious chance that zombies will never return in a Call of Duty game at this point. Now before I continue, I must say I do enjoy Lexi's content. I don't watch other zombies YouTubers, I don't watch zombies content, but I do watch other people that produce the same type of content that Lex does. I think it's funny. I just don't watch other COD Zombies videos, but I have to be honest, when I first saw this tweet, I thought, let's just say it's something I can't see happening. Yes, even though Vanguard Zombies is bad, we all know that. People have their opinions on games before this, Cold War, BO4, 321, but there are quite a few reasons why I wouldn't believe this. One is to do with Activision. I think every COD going forward from now on needs a third game mode just because Warzone is free. They need an incentive in COD for people to purchase the actual games. Otherwise, what's the point if you can just play a free version? Just a 6-hour campaign, in my opinion, isn't worth £60. If you add onto that a multiplayer mode, those two things combined, again, I don't think is worth £60, $70. So every COD that releases from now on, I think has to have a third game mode, whether it be zombies or not. It could be a different version of Extinction, a brand new game mode, Spec Ops. It doesn't necessarily have to be zombies. We know that's mainly Treyarch's thing, although I do also think that applies to them. But just to make Call of Duty games worth purchasing anymore, I think there has to be a third mode. We know zombies is Treyarch's thing. They started it. They've had it in every one of their games since it's began. And just because we've had a bad version of it in Vanguard, I wouldn't say there's a serious chance that zombies will never return. I actually think it probably will be in every Treyarch game we get. But anyway, Kevin Drew replied to this tweet. He is the lead game designer at Treyarch. He worked on the zombie systems and Outbreak for Black Ops Cold War. I don't know if he works on Vanguard. I'm not even sure who's working on Vanguard Zombies anymore, but he replied to Lex's tweet with this, basically saying, what are you on about? Like I said, when I first saw this tweet, even though I love Lex, I thought it was a stupid thing to say, just because when you break it down, it doesn't make sense. And here we have the lead game designer at Treyarch basically reiterating the same thing. Zombies 100% will be in Treyarch's next game. We know that because, well, at the end of Cold War, we saw it said the story will continue. Maybe that gives us a hint that we'll be getting Black Ops Cold War 2. And even after that, in Treyarch's next game in, I don't know, what is it, 2026? That should be when it would be scheduled. I can guarantee we'd have zombies again, and then in Treyarch's next game and the next one, I think zombies will be in every Treyarch game for quite a long time. Just because this zombies is bad, I know there's some people that like it. I'm sure Treyarch have gone through this experience plenty of times in the past, especially with Black Ops 4, they had the same thing. In some cases for Cold War, even BO3, 2, 1. I'm sure there would have been people during those games that said, I don't like this is bad, change it, delete it, don't do this again. And the best thing Treyarch can do is take this and then use it to improve upon their next game. One thing I will say is I do like it when developers of any video game, not just Treyarch, any developers out there that interact with their community, whether it be something we want to hear or not. I've said many times, and this is evidence of this, Treyarch developers are on Twitter, they know the community's reaction on Vanguard, so hopefully they can take that and improve upon it in this game and the next one. And just quickly talking about this point, before I get onto the final thing I want to talk about, I have seen over the past day or two some kind of strange comments from one or two people complaining about YouTubers making negative videos on Vanguard. And the only thing I've got to say to that is, I'm not being funny, but have you seen the state that it's in right now? Call of Duty, in a lot of people's opinions and mine, is probably in the worst state it's been in quite a long time, if ever, yet you expect people to make positive content or not make negative videos all the time. I'm not being funny, but I can't pull positivity out of my arse. I also can't pull content from this game out of my arse. It's not mine or anyone else's fault that there's nothing to actually make videos on this game about, and my videos are actually based on the community's reactions. They are not my opinion, as you will see from probably 90% of the videos I've made about Vanguard Zombies. They are all based off your opinions, the community's opinions about Vanguard Zombies, not mine. So if you're seeing mine or any other YouTubers' videos about Vanguard be negative, if you seem to think the same points are being repeated over and over again, it's probably because that's what the community's thoughts are. 90% of my videos, as you can see from this one, are covering what's going on in the community and what their thoughts are, not mine. Although I do share the same thoughts as a lot of people, I also have my own opinions. And the other thing I would say is I've seen people say there are some people that are exploiting devs for money. Yeah, but it's okay for them to exploit us. It's totally fine for them to take our money and give us a half-finished, shitty product. A video game is not like an item of clothing, you can't suddenly take it back once you've opened it. It's okay for them to exploit us, but when you seem to think it's the other way around, nah. One thing I'm never going to do is force positivity. I also don't force negativity. What I'm trying to do with Vanguard, since there's hardly any content to make on the actual gameplay, which by the way I've actually done probably 3 or 4 videos on the story, I'm trying to sway my content more towards what the community's reactions are as we go from day to day and see how they change. And unfortunately, it's a lot of negativity right now, and that's what's going to be represented. So I just had to say that because there's a few small brain people out there that don't seem to grasp this or just want to ignore what's going on. The way I've decided I want to take this channel is I want to try and interact more with the community as a whole, and especially you guys, which means making videos on what's going on in the zombies community and trying to interact more with you guys. And every now and again, when I can, because I can't pull stuff out of my arse, I'll make a video on the storyline, which by the way, I've probably made the most storyline videos than anyone I've seen. I probably covered Cold War's storyline more than anyone else, although everyone knows I wasn't a big fan of Outbreak. Apart from that though, I still made more videos to do with content that was actually in the game more than anyone else, including the storyline, Easter eggs. I've done the same Vanguard, but I'm working off the content that Treyarch are giving to us. Just the other day, I did a video on some fixes they've done to Vanguard zombies. Like I said, I've already done 4 or 5 videos on the Vanguard zombie story. I unfortunately can't pull positive content out of my arse. Although I wish I could, because I've been making videos on this game since, I don't know, 2012, 2013. Obviously I want to like it and praise them, but one thing I'm not is fake. I'd say I'm an expressive person. I like to give my opinions, and of course opinions are diversive. Anyway, the final thing I wanted to say was, we know that Treyarch's next game is coming out in 2023. Looking how COD development cycles have gone over the past few years, it kind of makes me question that. But usually we have a 3-year dev cycle. It goes Sledgehammer, Treyarch and Infinity Ward. So this year has been Sledgehammer, they are the main developers. Next year we know is Infinity Ward with Modern Warfare 2, and so the year after that means we should be having Treyarch. That is when their next main game comes in 2023. Their last main game was Call of Duty Cold War. People forget that that game originally wasn't even theirs. Black Ops Cold War was actually Sledgehammer's game. Treyarch had to come in halfway through to finish it off. Also, with Vanguard, we know Treyarch had to come in and finish the zombies portion of this game mode off as well. Assuming that Treyarch aren't going to help Infinity Ward on their game next year, personally, I don't see them needing to, since Infinity Ward have had the full 3 years to work on their game. That means for Treyarch's next game in 2023, it also would have had the full 3 years. However, the zombies mode in their next game would have only had 1 year's development, or between 1 to 2 years. Considering that Vanguard Zombies had 6 months of development, Cold War Zombies had about a year, maybe just over that. 2 years for a zombies mode should be a decent amount of time. If you take your minds back to not that long ago, 2 years for zombies was the standard. I think they did a pretty good job at the beginning of Cold War, releasing D Machine, although that was the only fully proper zombies map designed by them in Cold War, the only one that didn't contain parts from campaign or multiplayer missions. We would have liked more zombies maps at the beginning of Cold War, 2 at least, but it got off to a decent start, so knowing that they'll have more time to develop their next zombies mode in 2023, that does leave me pretty hopeful. This person did say in the comments of one of my videos, which I thought was pretty interesting, but when you break it down doesn't make sense at all. They said, a new COD should drop every 3 years instead of every year. This would lead to better games and no excuse if a game launches in a terrible state. If a COD released every 3 years instead of every year, that would mean each developer would have 9 years to make their games. That's way too long, especially for an FPS shooter. They're not massive open world games. Let's not talk about GTA. Maybe that will come out in another 9 years. But I think realistically, 3 to 4 years is more than enough time to develop an FPS, especially COD. So even though you think Call of Duty releasing every year might be the reasons why they're bad, actually, I don't think it is. This problem has only occurred recently because certain studios, from what we can gather, aren't able to finish their own games. Instead, they have to get other studios in to help them, which then completely messes up the whole cycle, meaning they just don't get the full 3 years that they should have to develop their games. I mean, we all know who that studio is that can't make their own Call of Duties. But if we didn't have this mess up of other developers having to intervene and help others, then Call of Duty releasing every year should be fine, because 3 years is enough time to make COD. Don't forget that Black Ops 4 had 3 years. Yes, you can say the perk system was bad. You can say a lot happened due to budget cuts, but you can't deny the amount of content that game got. It did also release in a pretty bad state with blue screens, but that was fixed pretty quickly. I'm just saying, I think Call of Duty releasing every year is okay because we have 3 studios, meaning that each one of them has 3 years to develop their games. Maybe an extra year wouldn't be any harm, but if they could just sort themselves out and not have to have other developers intervene and work on other people's games, and every studio had their full development time, it should be okay. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel, and as always, we'll see you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.